My name is Henry Gracie, and I'm a third-generation Jiu-Jitsu instructor in the legendary Gracie family. Today, we're talking about self-defense the Gracie way. "99% of street fights are 100% avoidable." Think about it. The situation, someone comes up to you and says something to you, looks at you a certain way, acts a certain way, basically they act ridiculous, right? And they offend you. And if you only realize that the ignorant, uneducated comments or behavior of another person are not a reflection of you. Someone can say or call me whatever they want, and it has no reflection of me because they don't know me. This person is acting that way because of their own ignorance. And if a 9-year-old kid came up to you and said, kicked you in the shins and said, "Hey, stupid idiot, go get a haircut, you're ugly," are you gonna fight that person and beat them up, the little kid? No. And ignorance has no age limit. So if a grown man says the same things to you, think to yourself, "Oh, poor guy, the guy's having a troubled day or a bad life, and let him live on with that." But to let that person offend you to the point where you actually fight them, you're giving them control over you, right? If they can anger you enough that you have to fight to prove yourself, they've controlled you, and you've already lost the fight to begin with. The hardest fights are the ones you walk away from. You guys, believe in yourselves. Don't get into fights for no reason. And that's coming from a member of a family that makes its living fighting. And I'm telling you, there's no need to street fight anybody for any reason. Unless someone's getting beat up and you have to save someone's life, or someone rushes you and attacks you out of nowhere, all other fights are avoidable. Especially if you minimize egos and alcohol. All right. For the 1% of fights that are totally unavoidable, I brought in my brother from another mother and Gracie Jiu-Jitsu black belt and one of the head instructors here at the Gracie Academy, Alex Stewart. Alex, we need to talk to them about distance management, because they have to understand that if they get into a fight against someone larger, it's not about beating the person up. And that's people's number one mistake in a fight, right? Normal martial arts, what do they teach you? You stand here in front of the person, fight like a man. I throw a punch, you throw a punch, I throw a punch, you throw a punch. Before you know it, someone goes down. The fight is won or lost, depending on who you are in the equation, and it's over. It doesn't make sense. If you're fighting someone twice your size, you don't want to stand in front of them and trade punches. It's the most inefficient way to fight someone, because as likely as you are to hit someone, you're equally likely to get hit in the process. So the Gracie philosophy, the Gracie way to approach the situation is to manage the distance and therefore manage the damage. Our idea is very simple. Green light, red light, green light. You want to be all the way out. If there's an altercation and a disagreement, and someone is being angry or aggressive, even if it's a normal stance for now, you want to at least be 2 arm lengths away. Because from 2 arm lengths away, they cannot abruptly punch you and knock you out or kick you without some kind of forecast or warning of their behavior. So from this distance, I'm safe. We call this the green zone. Green zone. Now, this right here is the red zone. I'm within 1 arm length distance. If he strikes right now, I could get knocked out if he has the power behind it. And here's what's crazy. This is also a green zone, all the way in. So the idea is, let's say push comes to shove, someone says something, you get offended more than you should, the fight is on, and now your hands are up. The idea is, I want you guys to stay all the way out, safely out of range. And you're not trying to punch and get punched. You're trying to stay safely out of range. Now, what if this guy doesn't follow me? Then we don't fight. But if this person aggresses towards me, you have to protect your face and step in all the way to the clinch. So you want to go from green to green while minimizing the time in the red zone, minimizing the chance of a knockout punch. And in doing so, you want to make sure that you protect your face on the way in. Boom! So that if he lands on your arms and not on your chin. Because all it takes is one punch in the red zone and you're knocked out. So if you forget everything else, remember, all the way out or all the way in. Now once you're in this close range right here, yes, Alex can hit me. There's no doubt that he can hit me. But these are just flailing arms. These aren't knockout blows that come from the entire body with your hips and your core and your body weight and all that leverage. So once you're in the clinch, these flailing arms are the least of our concerns. And here, depending on the situation, multiple attackers, you would want to disengage and get out of here as quickly as possible. So from here, you would push out, boom, and the fight's over and you move out and you're gone. Now, if you're in this situation and you want to take the fight to the ground, very simple. From this clinch, this body control, I'm going to lower myself a level, control his hips, not his high armpits, come down, connect, lift him up a little bit and fold him down. It's a body fold. I pick him up and I fold his torso. Once I off balance him down, I come to the most dominant position in the fight, the mount position. Now, this is where you want to be in a fight. It's very simple. Why? He can't punch, but you can punch. So he cannot do damage, and you can if you want to. Now, this doesn't mean that striking the person from here is the recommended strategy. It just means that it's possible, and it gives you a great advantage. And this person has very limited power because they can't cock their arm back. They can't cock their arm back any further than this. So even if they hit me, he has no power in his punch. Now, the most common mistake made from a top fighting position like this, in a very basic sense, is that people are too upright and they're too aggressive. They get emotional, they want to hurt this person, so they're throwing punches from here. And the problem is the more narrow and aggressive I am, the more tippable I am. So you just push me off and oh, boom, now you fall off in the bottom of the fight. And then, boom, the punches are coming down. Let's go back. So if being tall and aggressive is the wrong strategy from a control perspective, then what's the right strategy? Immobilize, control, and exhaust the subject. But to do that, check this out. We're gonna get low, we're gonna put our hooks in, and we're gonna smash them with our hip pressure. Look at how my hips are driving onto Alex's, and my knees are floating right there. Show them my knees. See the knees right there? They're floating. Why? Because all my weight's on Alex, and my hands are out, and I'm hooking his legs right here. So right now, he's carrying 100% of my weight. If he pushes me this way, I connect. If he pushes me the other way, I connect. So I'm constantly anchored onto him, keeping myself tight. So instead of just laying on top of Alex like this, bump your hips and throw me off. Boom. You see how easily he pushed me off right there? Because I weigh 190, and if Alex can bench press 200 pounds, bump and throw, he's gonna escape my mount. So the question is, how can we have mount control that is more effective than the limit of our physical body weight, right? If you just lay on him and he can bench press your body weight, technically he can throw you off. Is it possible, is it conceivable that someone who weighs 160 pounds holds someone down who weighs 200, 220, 250 pounds? Is it possible? Not without jiu-jitsu, because he can bench press your body weight. But check this out. Alex, do me a favor. You have your black belt right here. Use both hands, grab your belt, get a solid grip on your belt. Very death grip it. Now, without moving your hips, bench press your belt. Alex's black belt has more mount control knowledge than 99% of the human population. What does the black belt understand? It's not about body weight, it's about connection. The belt is connected to him. So what I'm trying to teach you guys is when you mount on, watch the no connection, connection. Body weight, jiu-jitsu. I'm connected with my hooks and with my hand. Bench press me. There's no way, because to bench press me would mean to bench press both of us. And that's not possible. Am I making myself clear?
Crystal.
What else do you need to know about maintaining mount and what the benefit? Talk about the psychological effect that happens to this person, sit up and get serious.
You have to imagine much bigger, stronger, more athletic person, or even more athletic than the person like in Henry's position that he's rolling, he's acting out, is that me, the bad guy, bigger, stronger, heavier, trying for dear life just to throw them out, and you can't. So psychologically, he's already mentally lost.
Right.
Not even that, but he's embarrassed, not even with the people around, but with the smaller person. Yeah. So he's already defeating himself slowly until he just gives up. Or opens up something else.
You can imagine, you get in a fight, you mount on top of a larger person, you just hold them down, and they're going crazy because you understand concepts of hooks and hips and connections, and they can't push you off. For their life, they can't put you off. Think about what goes through their mind. Psychologically, they're done. And once the person taps out in here, having them tap out here is so easy. Do you guys understand what I'm getting at? This is how you win a fight without fighting, without beating someone up. You get a guy who gets held down like this. The countless stories we have of students who've used these tactics to immobilize someone and be able to defeat them without ever hurting them or even submitting them are countless. The big guy says, okay, I give up. Whatever you want. Police officers arrest the guy. They hold him down effectively with our techniques. I give up. I'm under arrest. You're cool. Whatever you want. They feel the control. And when someone feels that level of control, there's no need to fight. I always say, if someone were to get into a fight with me or with Alex in a real street fight, that's the luckiest person in the world. Because we're not going to hurt them. We're going to tie them into a pretzel. We're going to make sure that they're safe and uninjured. And then when they cooperate, we're going to let them up, shake hands, and go have some watermelon juice. Now, another very common situation is you're mounted on top of the subject here, and unfortunately, you aren't able to hold them down for whatever reason. You get on top, you forget your hooks, you did not study your Gracie University lessons this week, whatever is fuzzy, the information, he pushes me off, and you lose position. So you were on top initially, now you're on the bottom of the fight. Now, if you do not know Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, what's going to happen here? This person on here, what are they going to try to do probably? Try to get up. Because if you don't know Jiu-Jitsu, you don't know how to remain calm on your back. So you start to sit up. The problem is, look, boom, 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 boom. Avalanche of punches coming down at your face. This is so common. Look at YouTube, look at street fights, and what do you notice? Everyone who lands on their back, they have no sense of distance management, and they're so eager to sit up, but they're literally running into an avalanche of punches. So their desire to get out is why they're not gonna get out safely and unbeaten. So, based on that logic, what are we gonna do? In a fight, whoever manages the distance manages the damage that can be done. Check it out. The way I manage the distance standing up in the clinch that we already showed you, we can also manage it on the ground from the guard. This is called the guard. Feet are crossed around his body, and right away, I lock Alex up and I pull him in. Head control, arm control. It's called Punch Block Series Stage 1. Now, if Alex remains close in this posture, my feet are crossed and I'm holding him tight. The guard is the secret weapon of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. It's why I can be on the bottom and not get beat up. Do you notice how I'm not trying to get up? In fact, I'm trying to keep him down. Now, from here, punch me with this hand. No, it can't because I got him wrapped. Punch me with the other hand. He can't reach because his head is being pulled that way. Now, what he might try to do is bring his hand inside and push away. And if I don't know what to do, push away, push away, push away, push away, push away, boom, knockout. So watch this. When he swims, I swim. That was too fast. I'll slow it down. When he swims, I swim. And now his hand is back trapped out. When he swims on this side, bring this hand in. I switch hands on the head, and I swim over here as well. It's called Punch Block Series Stage 1. Now, you might be asking, rotate me back. You might be asking, Henry, what if the guy tries to punch me in the body over here? Boom, rib shots. Over here he can't because I got his arm trapped. But if he goes for the rib shots over here, go ahead. Watch what I do. I fill the space. Look, he's creating distance. It frees. If I don't fill the space over here, then guess what? He's going to use it against me. So when his arm goes back, watch what I do. My knee comes in and my hand hooks his tricep. This is called stage 1.5. Then he pulls the other arm away. Stage 2, look, I'm connecting here, move, move, move. Look, he can't reach my face. And the more he leans forward, the more I let him back in. That's called stage 2. Now, what if instead of pulling the body punch, he slips his head out and he sits up so quickly? Freeze. That's distance. If I don't manage the distance, that means guess what? I don't manage the damage. So right when he sits up, instead of saying, oh man, how can I get him back down and him punch me in the face? Stage 3. Look, knees up, hands up. Now, my torso and thighs are longer than his arm. He can't reach. So from here, the more Alex reaches, the more I'm ready to close the book and lock him back up in stage 1. Got it? So for each distance, we have a different measure of protection. If he stands up, I'm holding him. Oh man, he gets away. Boom, feet on the hips. Stage 4. Now both feet are here. He's swinging wildly. I protect my face and I lower him back in, elevator style. Bring the leg press, drop him down and wrap him up. So what does this mean? From the bottom of the fight, if you know how to manage the distance, you can avoid the dangerous knockout blows. And most importantly, throughout all of this, what's he wasting?
Energy.
Energy. And what am I preserving?
Energy.
Wrong.
Energy.
Energy. So we lock it up right here. One more time. Stage 2. He pulls the body shot. I fill it in. Go. Movement. My knees come in. I connect. He sits up. Sit up. If he goes to 3, I respect. I close the book. If he stands up, I stay close. My feet on the hips. Manage the distance. Whoa, let him go. Bring him in. Protect the face. So the idea is you can be on the bottom of the fight, totally calm, managing all these strikes, protecting your face, if you understand distance management. Eventually, what's he going to do? Oh man, I'm tired. And then at that point, guess what? Drop the elbow in the pocket, foot on the ground, hip out, knee inside. Retract the leg, cross your feet, hip up, pull the arm across, bite the neck, lock it up, squeeze the legs. 6 seconds, he's unconscious. It's called the triangle choke, my friends. You may recognize it from the final match in UFC 4, Royce Gracie versus Dan Severn. One of the most famous UFC chokes of all time. Definitely the triangle choke that put Gracie Jiu-Jitsu on the map. One more time. From stage 1, control. If you want to get your leg over his neck and choke him once he's exhausted, remember we have to wait till he tires out, right? The right move at the wrong time is the wrong move. Once he's tired, the beast is tired, then it's time. Watch. Number 1, switch hands on the head, drop the elbow in the pocket. 1, 2, foot on the ground, hip out, knee inside, bite the back, control the tricep. And from here, very casually, it's called opening the book. Open the book. Now bring your leg through, cross your legs. My feet are crossed around his neck. This is called triangle setup. The party has started, but it's not nearly over yet. Look, maybe from here, it's elbow strike or a distraction to get his hands up. Use the hands to swipe it across. At this point, hold the head, foot on the hip, little wiggle back, make the thigh vertical, big bite, grab, lock, full lockup. From here, just my legs alone, compression of the thigh, calf, and knees. Look, 6 seconds, he's unconscious. He's not dead. He's just unconscious temporarily. And at that point, you let him go. He shakes a little bit. You wake him back up. And guess what? No permanent damage, no bruises, no evidence. He's safe. He's been neutralized. The threat is controlled. And at the end of the day, he learned his lesson. Not to pick a fight with me. But he didn't have to get his face brutalized to learn that lesson. Alex, anything else they need to know about distance management, control concepts, techniques, or what jiu-jitsu can do for them in their lives overall?
Overall, it's be amazing for you. You know, as far as distance management, Henry explained it very well. 2 arms distance is safe. Closest is safe, but what happens in the middle is the most dangerous part. So you have to learn and believe in yourself to go from point A to point B and stay close. Now, the more angry the bad guy is, the more accessible it is to be tipped over. If you land on top, you control it. And man, when you're on top of something, when someone's on top of you that knows how to use their hips, it's very devastating. And if you are, I want to say lucky for the bagger to throw the good guy off and you're in the bottom, it's even more devastating because you're trying to punch them, they can't connect you, they're not getting what they want, and then once they tire out, they still on top of you, outside looking in, they're winning. But in reality, you're still staying calm and relaxed, and you could possibly finish it with a submission, reversal, and just walk away without hurting
if
the
you
bad
submit them. But remember, if nobody wins the fight, you won. Especially if the opponent is bigger, heavier, and stronger than you are. So when it comes to learning self-defense or a martial art, the general consensus is you train for 5, 10 years, you get a black belt, and then you're ready to defend yourself in a worst-case scenario. What's crazy is that couldn't be further from the truth when it comes to jiu-jitsu. And the reason is, with other martial arts where you're literally adhering to the accepted fighting distance of society, which is you stand in front of each other, you trade punches and kicks until someone gets knocked out. If you adhere to that strategy, it makes sense because you're playing the same game that the entire world is playing, and somebody who does not know any martial arts can stand in front of you and throw some wild punches and kicks and get lucky with a knockout blow. But when the fight hits the ground, you don't accidentally triangle choke someone. Right? You don't get lucky with an armbar. You either know it or you don't. So with jiu-jitsu, we completely violate the generally accepted, rules of fighting in the sense that we don't just stand there and trade blows with someone. Instead, we manage the distance. We're all the way out, frustrating our opponent, or we're all the way in, suffocating them with closeness and clinch. We take the fight to the ground. We let them flop, we let them exhaust. And like my brother Hidon says, the same way you can drown in the ocean, you can drown in a street fight when you don't know what to do on the ground. So your opponent goes crazy, they're burning energy. Even if you get on the bottom of the fight, worst case scenario, you're still managing the distance, controlling your opponent. They exhaust, and then eventually they make a mistake. And what's crazy is their mistake is your opportunity. They don't know that when they grab your throat, you can do an armbar. When they try to headbutt you, you can do a guillotine. When they try to kick you, you can do a leg lock. You have so many options based on the predetermined indicators and assault behaviors of the standard street fight punk. It's crazy, you guys. In as little as 6 months, 36 techniques. Gracie combatives is the absolute minimal you need to become effective enough at dealing with the most common threat scenarios to be able to defend yourself against a larger, more athletic opponent. Gracie Combatives is taught here at the Gracie Academy in Torrance, and we have over 100 certified training centers all over the world that teach this program. You can show up, you can do group classes, you can do private classes, and if you live out in the middle of nowhere, contact the Gracie Academy here in Torrance, contact headquarters, and we'll send an instructor to you to teach you at your house. The bottom line is you don't want to live another day without knowing 36 techniques that could save you or save your family. Because every man should know how to protect himself and his loved ones. Much respect. Alex, thank you. You guys, I'm telling you, try jiu-jitsu. And if you think you're too old, out of shape, unathletic to do this, you're wrong. That may be true for every other martial art, but you're the perfect candidate for Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. We'd love to see you on the mat, and under one condition, we'll share with you all of our secrets. Make sure that when you catch us in a chokehold, you let go when we tap out. Much respect, you guys. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is our family's self-defense system that has been used to defeat giants for the last 85 years. Today, we have specialized, amazing programs for men, women, and children. Gracie Bully Proof. Teach kids how to assert themselves verbally against the bullies, and if attacked, how to neutralize the situation without throwing a single punch or kick. Women empowered. 15 techniques to defend against sexual assault based on the most common threat scenarios facing women. And of course, for men and anyone who wants to learn simple, effective self-defense in the least amount of time possible. We have Gracie Combatives, our most effective self-defense program to date. For all of these programs, more information, and to learn how you can learn Gracie Jiu-Jitsu from home, go to gracieuniversity.com, check it out, a bunch of free lessons. And if you're not 100% satisfied with the quality of the instruction and the amazingness of the techniques, come to Torrance and you can choke me out for free. Much respect. We'll see you in the next one.